Hello folks, this is Miguel from Embargo Man channel, right? So one day when I look at the Fox app, yes, the Fox app, right? So I went to see this this new fantasy island, all right? So for the moment there about about the new fantasy island TV series, it seems like okay, you have Roselyn Sanchez as Ms Roarke. I mean, as Ms Roarke, I mean, ever since the original one from like the late 70s and early 80s, Herve Villachaize, right? The guy who plays Tatto, all right. He's the one made popular for saying the plane, the plane, the plane. Yes, he says the plane, right? But then this one, this is more like an update to the original, but then no tattoo. I mean, no tattoo, right? So, what happened with this tattoo character, right? So, most likely, whoever's going to play Tatto in this new Fantasy Island series, there has to be some kind of sort of, look, this is Tatto. Who is going to be Tatto? So then I have two suggestions of this when I was seeing on YouTube about this about everything about the series and about Mr. Jones. All right, Mr. Jones is a dog, right? So what would be for the second season? The first two episodes that I saw, it was one with this lady who just have a bad time with her stepdad, and she wants to dream of not losing weight and eat all the donuts and all the sweets and everything. And yep, that's her fantasy. And then there's these odd couple that you're saying that they want to just switch sides, right? So just to get to know each other, like the guy who turns around to become the wife, and then then the wife is staying to getting a hard on or something like that, switching bodies. And then you have Mr. Jones. And then that particular dog, about talking about Mr. Jones, when I see something about how it's going to be made, well, the first one was filmed in Hawaii, and the new one is filmed in Puerto Rico, right? So due to that saying, like, pay attention to those folks. The people who are short in stature, like Tatto. I couldn't imagine it before. Back then, I wouldn't have imagined it was going to be just a dude and a small dude. We'll imagine Vin Diesel and Verne Troyer. Mini-Me, right? Verne Troyer has died, and then after that, I could imagine who would it be? Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage would be perfect to play Tatto, right? So the guy who, I forgot his name, and yeah, Peter. Then I brought my tablet, the only Android device that I have right now, right? This Lenovo Android tablet. Here we go. Darn. Oh. This is something about Peter Dinklage, right? Yes, Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage has played something about Verne Villachaize, right? I mean, he would be a great choice for a tattoo. This is the next tattoo, right? Or somebody, when I see about this, so here we go, and this dude, put it this way, this dude, he could be the next tattoo, right? So, and then there's another person, yeah, Bad Santa. Have you seen Bad Santa? Tony Cox. Tony freaking Cox could play the next tattoo. So, this is between Peter Dinklage or Tony Cox. So for the following episode that this would come by, you're gonna have Mr. Jones, the dog, the golden retriever, barking at an airplane, right? So, Peter Dinklage might be tattooed, but he is not going. He might not have. He might have zero chance to play the next tattoo. Who going to play tattoo? I believe is Tony Cox, right? Bad Santa, people. Bad Santa, right? So Tony Cox would play. Out of the next episode, the dog will bark. The dog will bark at the plane, and then all the dog barking, Mr. Jones barking at the plane. It is saying the plane, and then saying the plane, and then the dog barks the plane. But finally, what would happen for the next episode? Maybe Bow Wow is gonna appear and meet his uncle. Bow Wow, Bow Wow, like the guy, I think he might play Tyrone Jones or something like that. He was seeing his uncle tattoo, and then Uncle Tattoo is a golden retriever, and then after that, that Tony Cox will appear. His name's gonna be Tattoo Jones, all right? So Tattoo Jones, who was gonna be Tony Cox, right? So what happened is that he met his nephew at the island, and then the nephew misses his uncle, and when he misses his uncle, then the uncle is the dog. So what happened with the dog? It would be after barking at the airplane. That would be for the first episode of the second season of Fantasy Island. The dog barks at the airplane. So whoever's going to play, Jones' nephew, right? Mr. Jones' nephew. I don't know if it could be Tyrone Jones or Antoine Jones or whatever, right? So or Peter Jones, right? So if it's Peter Jones or something like that, Peter Dinklage as Tattoo Jones, right? So and then you will see the famous scene of the scene with his Herve Villachaize. Ring his bell, says the plane, right? So then there it is. If Peter Dinklage could play is the next tattoo, then that the dog barking, and then you have it. But if it's Bow Wow coming then to meet his uncle, then this is gonna be the dog, Mr. Jones, the dog, the golden retriever, actually is the character from Bad Santa, right? So the character from Bad Santa is the golden retriever. So here comes Tyrone Jones, who's played by Bow Wow. The dog barks at the airplane, and then you notice something about Mr. Jones, the dog, barks at an airplane. the same, and they're gonna play the classic theme of the original Fantasy Island, then you'll notice something that here goes Tatto Jones. I mean, this is where it starts in the second season. Then, I mean, Tony Cox would say the plane. And then the following season, you can see Tony Cox, saying the plane. And then you have Tatto right there. And that is it. I mean, what do you think about that? What do you think about, who is going to be Tatto? Or what do you think of that? If it's Peter Dinklage who's going to be Tatto, then I might be right. It's going to be somebody else going to play his nephew. If it's Tony Cox, then Bow Wow would appear at the first episode of the second season of Fantasy Island, and that will have right there is Tony Cox. You're gonna have the character from Bad Santa behind that golden retriever. So that's it. And then he says, and I noticed it about the Tony Cox character, Tatto Jones. He says, I'm sick and tired of being a dog, and then I have a dog life. I've been scratching, I've been having. We're talking about fleas and all that stuff, and then and then what he wanted to be is to announce Mrs Roarke, played by Roselyn Sanchez, to say the plane. Somebody's coming to Fantasy Island. That's like saying, okay, I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna be the best. Somebody saying I'm gonna be the best break dancer or whatever, and like that. Like, what the heck? You call some dude coming to Fantasy Island? Tony Cox in Fantasy Island. He plays Tatto Jones, who and what do you think about it? And what do you think about the Tatto Jones character? I mean, if you think that if the golden retriever is actually the Bad Santa character, then you notice it. That's Tony Cox. So please write me a comment. Please, please, subscribe to the Embargo Man channel. And whatever you think about it, what do you think about Peter Dinklage, or what do you think about Tony Cox? What do you think about Tony Cox? And what if that golden retriever, Mr. Jones, is that same character from Bad Santa? If it happens to be true, or you see Bow Wow in the second season, you see the dog barking at a plane. The dog barking at a plane, that dog is, the character behind that dog has been in Bad Santa. So goodbye, peace out. Hit the bell button, and I'm coming on the next video. And then there's going to be something new about, and then this is about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Who is going to play Amy Rose? I bet you subscribe to her YouTube channel, right? I mean, behind Amy Rose from the Sonic the Hedgehog soundtrack, the person behind the voice might be a blonde one. Goodbye, everybody, and please take care.